Hey guys, Porkchopper here, and unless you've been hiding under a rock in Legacy over the last few days, you know that the massive Monolith update has been out. Today I wish to share my first impressions on this map. Having played a good 20 games now, I feel I've experienced it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the best changes I think they have added are the small ones. For example, the gold and river buff making being in lanes not as boring, removal of the red buff, more open and vertical jungle spaces, towers being stronger, the fog walls and the jungle camp changes just make the game feel so much better. The map itself is a lot smaller. We thought the main reason was due to the removal of travel mode, however with the significant increase to movement speed and while every ability in the game, it's basically Paragon on twice the speed. You can rotate very easily and I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, even though that's what Epic are going for. They say they want everyone to be able to rotate into team fights so you get punished if team members don't, more than the idea of it being harder to rotate so you get rewarded for good map presence and persistence by single players. And overall it feels from the tactical and map awareness from Legacy seems to be dumbed down. I feel in mid lane I have more freedom which I enjoy, but lanes don't need to be pushed as much, nor towers destroyed. It's so easy mid to late game to push away with the increase of movement speed and smaller map size. You can see me now as Gadget and I'm able to push this lane when the inhib is down all the way to theirs and kill their inhibitor within a minute. I know the team should have rotated on me, but it's still crazy. The first 20 minutes sort of seem useless. Just farm up, then one single team fight, good or bad, then the game is pretty much over with the length of respawn timers which need to be reduced. War Prime in my opinion has become more irrelevant than ever. Simply if a team fight is won, what's the point of getting Orb when you can push on and pretty much win the game at that point? I've had a lot of shallow defeats and victories when you have this build up into the game and suddenly a few mistakes and one team loses the match. It feels quite anticlimactic. In Legacy you would have to win multiple team fights to really get ahead of your opponent, and then you would need to make sure the lanes are in your favour to push them quickly. That doesn't matter in Monolith. Talking about build up, Legacy has a very good early game build up in my opinion. You stay in your lane for a good 15 minutes, maybe do the odd rotation, but most of your goal is to outplay your opponent. It felt great if I did, and made them back while I could stay in lane and farm more. In Monolith you simply can't do that. They're back on the field like 20 to 30 seconds faster. Now when going onto key roads, I think casters are in a very good spot except for Iggy. For carries, Murdoch and Twin Blast are the new meta. Sparrow with no ability and a much weaker passive means he doesn't pack the punch he did in Legacy's late game. Grim with his ult being weaker makes him much worse version than Murdoch really. As for fighters, jungling early game is a lot harder. You take a lot more damage from camps and can't spend as much time ganking. Maybe because it's the first few days, but I see junglers rarely leaving their jungles because they are too low to gank afterwards. Support unfortunately got hit hard. Now you only share 60% card experience of the carry's farm, not the 100% from Legacy, so you get less experience. Your ability cooldowns are a lot longer, and with the cooldown reduction and a few good support cards costing 5 card points just to equip, makes it so much so you can't build near enough as well as you could in Legacy. I feel Muriel and Steel I think will be the best due to their impact in ult, closely followed by Narbas for having that movement speed, with Decker far behind. I feel a lot more useless in fights as them. I seem to throw my stun and just watch the fight continue until I can throw it again. It doesn't work as well. Plus laning in early game is very boring as you can't do anything, you can't even last hit anymore. Building tanks as well is a lot harder. Armor and health got nerfed and rightfully so, but now a tank can't really tank that efficiently. Unless you build full health and armor, then you become a more reliability if you can't do much damage. Plus when you have to rely on your teammates, that can be a worrying thing. Talking about teammates, it may be because it's the early days, but one simple bad teammate and the game is pretty much over. Someone overextends a few too many times and it's so hard to keep control of the game, again due to how long the respawn timers are at the moment and how easy people can push. So my last overall thoughts on Paragon are that when having great matches it's the most fun I've ever had in Paragon, but when you're having those bad matches from being behind, bad teammates, bad calls and well deathballing, as that's really a big thing now again, it's the worst experiences I've had in Paragon. They made a really good map and done a lot of good changes, but with the speed and overall hero tweaks weakening the reason I love Paragon. It's tactical gameplay and movement, being one step ahead of your opponent, and that's pure satisfaction of when you capitalise on that. but even if you do that now, it only takes 10 seconds for the entire team to join in on the fight. Much of the changes they made on Monolith could have been done on Legacy and tested out. I don't know why they didn't. I feel if you give the current meta on Legacy, it would feel a lot better, especially with the movement speed increase over travel mode. I just think they just wanted to make a massive update one and have all these big changes, and it's harder for us to give some critical opinions back on how to change it and make it better when they've done so much at once, because we don't know what the problems are and what works and what doesn't work until another few weeks down the line, and by the time we've figured out what the problems are, it takes longer to fix. But saying that, of course Epic will change it over time. They're incredible at updating their game, and this is the raw version right now. A month or so down the line, I'm sure that Monolith will be in a much better state. But for now, I will still play and have fun as I always do, and I'll be doing a lot of hero guides in the coming weeks on this channel, so if you want to stay around for those, that'd be very much appreciated. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in the next video.